I've already introduced myself. I'm a programmer in Open Knowledge Foundation, and I recently joined Open Knowledge Foundation 4 months ago, and currently I'm contributing in Frictionless Library. And this is my awesome team of Frictionless Library. So, and today I'm going to talk about it's about sharing the new feature that we have been developing recently. We are currently trying to develop the feature which can make the data sharing between the frictionless library and many different data portals easier. So we're currently working on CCAN, Zenodo, and GitHub. But today this presentation will be about the GitHub integration. Now I'll be talking about the features that we have added to read and write data to the GitHub. So here, to read the data from the GitHub repo, we can use this. We can use the package class and pass the URL of the repo. Then the GitHub plugin can identify that this is the URL of the GitHub URL, and it will read the data from that repo and create a package and return it back as a package. And we have another alias function for that as well. Both functions do the same work, read the data from a single repo and return it as a package. And this feature can read the data, the data from the repo that has package descriptor, that with and without package descriptor. If there is no package descriptor, then it will create the list of resources and create a package descriptor as shown here on the right side, and with the same name as the GitHub repo, and return back the package. And if it has the package descriptor, then it will just read that package descriptor and return it as a package. So this is how it reads the package from the repo. And the second one is the catalog, creating a catalog of the packages. Like it can the first function would read the package from one repo only, but here in this function allows us to create the list of packages from multiple repositories. So each repository will be taken as one package, and it will create the list and return as a catalog here. I will talk about this control later, but here in the second line we have this catalog class, and once we pass the URL of the user account, then it will pass through all the repositories and create the package from each repository and return the list. And if there are no resources in the repository, or if there are no packages in any of the repository, then it will not include those repositories as a package. And here I'm passing this URL of this user FT tester, and it will go through those repositories and create the list. I'm also passing search here because I wanted to filter the repositories, because there are lots of repositories, and if it would read and there are duplicate repository also. That's why I'm using search here, but we don't need to use search. We can simply pass the URL and it will create the catalog for us. These controls are used to tweak the behavior of the function. And here we see when I pass this URL, it will return the result as follows. On the right side, you can see it in the JSON format. There, it is written in 3 repositories as a package. And catalog, we can pass the URL of the user's account, or and we can also select which kind of repository we want to read based on the search queries. We can pass the search queries as follows, and we can use any qualifiers that GitHub API supports. And for example, in this search, I'm trying to read those repositories which has test action read text in the README file. So it will read only those repositories and create the catalog for it. And here are different examples of the qualifiers that GitHub API supports. There are more, but I'm just sharing some of them. For example, if you want to read only those repositories which has jQuery in the name of the repos, then we can just pass jQuery in name. Similarly, we can combine multiple qualifiers as well. And we can also sort the reading of the repositories in by the updated dates or any other fields in the ascending or descending order. And here's I have also added the documentation for the GitHub qualifiers, which is provided by the GitHub. So we can use any qualifiers that GitHub API supports in the source queries. And similarly, to create catalog, we can also pass the sort and order as a parent. We can pass it as a qualifier as well, or as a parent, and then read the packages that in the different order, and only those packages that we want. Um, so this is the third functionality, which helps us to write the package to the GitHub repository. Here, two GitHub function requires the package object. We pass the package, and then we need this API key, email, and username plus repo where to write. But this email and username is not required if the username is set in the GitHub account, or and if the email is not private. Then based on this API key, we can get the email and the username. But if the email is private or if the username is not set, then we need to pass it explicitly here like this. And we need API key to API token to write to the GitHub repo, and that API token should have write access, repository write access. Then only we can write it to the repository. So this is the two GitHub function helps us to write the package data to the repository. It will write the package file plus also the resources, and the response of this function would be the repository class, and so this would be the response from this function. And those are the three functions that we have added, which is read, write, and creating catalog. And this is we can tweak the behavior of those three functions using controls, and they are the parameters that we can pass to the functions and then change the behavior of the function. For example, here the first, if I use the first control, which has user and repo only, then it will read all the files of CSV and XLS format, because by default it reads both CSV and Excel files. But if I want to only read the CSV file, then I can just pass it as a formats parent and set CSV. Then it will only read the CSV files and create the package like this. And we can pass that control as a parent to the package class or catalog class, or the function that writes to the repository. And this parents applies for different all the three functions. For example, this email and name works is required for the write function, and the search works for the search is for the catalog creation function. So these are the different parameters that we can set for these different functions that we have created. But each parameters may works for different functions, like I explained. I'd like to see the demo of this function. So to read the package from the GitHub, I'm passing the API key, because GitHub API has the access limit of 60 60 access only per hour. So if I use API key, I can access it 5,000 times, I think. So I'm passing the API key, but we do not need to pass the API key. And just passing the URL, I can read the package from the GitHub repository here, and this is the output from the read function here. And I'm currently using the alias function. And once I read the packages, I can also access the resources like this. Is this visible? I mean, is this screen visible? Okay. And then I can also read the rules, read the data from each resources like this. So this is the read functionality using alias function. We can directly pass it to the package constructor as well, package class. And here it is reading the data from the repo which do not have the data package set. For example, so here it doesn't have the data package here. It just has the files, and it will create the data package for us and return it back. Similarly, it can also read the data package from the repos which has a data package descriptor. Sorry, I was saying data package, but it was data package descriptor. This repo doesn't have the data package descriptor, and it creates for us. And this repo has the data package descriptor, and it reads the information from the data from that descriptor and just returns it back like this. And to create the catalog, we use the catalog from class, and I'm again passing this search uh, um, search text so that I can filter the repositories. And there are 4 repositories which have this search text in this user account. So when I run this, it will return 4 repositories. And currently I'm displaying only 2 repositories, but it will return 4. Um, Here, these are the 4 packages that it's returning. I think it's difficult to see, but there are 4 different packages that it returns, and we can then read the data from the packages like we did before. And similarly, we can use many different search qualifiers. Like I said in the presentation, I can use the user qualifier, or I can read the repo which has jQuery in name. Here in this account, there is one repo which has jQuery in its name. So when I run this, it will return when I run this, it will return that repo only and create the catalog for it. So we can use many different combination of the qualifiers. And here I'm combining multiple qualifiers that it says that I want to read the repos from FT testers account, which is recently updated in the descending order, and then which has test action read text in the readme. So if I change, so when I run this, it will return the repository based on the one that is recently updated. For example, right now, this is recently updated, but if I go to this repo and make the changes, then it should return this as first one. It's not, looks like it's not working. And now it has changed. I don't know what happened, but when I made the changes here, then this is the latest. This is the repo which is recently updated, so it comes first here. And in this way, we can use many different qualifiers to create the catalog. And to write the repo, we use a to GitHub command function. Right now we already have this repo, so I'll delete that repo and rerun that. So if I run this again, it should write the data package and sources to that new repo. It right now it is able to write. So it has created a new repo. I had just deleted that repo, and now it just created this repo with the package file and the data and the resources here, and it returns this repository object. And similarly, we can use the control to change the behavior of the function. So we use control to pass the parameters. So here I'm passing the username and the repo that I want to read. And when I run this, I'll get this result. And similarly, if I want to read only the CSV file, then I can just pass it as a format, and then it will only read the CSV file. But if I hadn't passed this one, by default it would read both CSV and Excel file. So this way we can use the control to change the behavior of the function. And similarly, I can use search parameter to read different kind of repository based on the need, and then create the catalog. So this is how the controls helps to control the all these three functions. Um, if there is any question, please.